Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Meta Cafe. Grab your cup of coffee or your tea, sit back, and let's chat about the astrology, human design, or whatever it is that comes up for us today, okay? Um, I've been hearing this weird sound in my house, like it's a chime, and it goes link, and it just now did it, and it's behind me somewhere, but I'll be darned if I can find it. I hear it at least 2 times a day. It's like maybe angels chiming in saying, "Hey, it's time to go on air." I don't know. It's so weird. And I keep meaning to ask my husband about it, and I always forget. So I have no idea where this chime is coming from, but it's somewhere behind me. So if you guys ever hear it, maybe you can help me pinpoint it because it's a very weird thing. So I'd like to welcome you all here this morning. And I just want to say a congratulations to Lynn Goldberg, as she was the winner of yesterday's Pleiadian Earth Energy calendar from the broadcast with Pia and Cullen. We had such a great time with them, and we've made plans to have them on again because I just love the work that they do. They're just so. It's interesting because my initial reaction to their work was my knee jerk, right? My reactionary self was really sort of like, weird. They're weird. This is weird stuff. It's a rehash of the Mayan calendar. I mean, I had all these things that went in my head. And then I actually started reading through their book and looking at the calendar. And I realized there is such deep wisdom here that I cannot wait to take it deeper and start using that information in the readings that I do with people. It's just fascinating. And so being able to talk to them yesterday, even if it was, sort of a broad topic that we were talking about, is very, very exciting to me. And I even told her yesterday after we got off the air, I said, I'm going to have to go to Cyprus now and hang out with you and learn this stuff because I really, really want to use this with all of you and kind of retrain ourselves to be in the flow of the energy rather than what the calendar says, right? The calendar tells us in sort of bland terms that today is April 19th, right? Big deal, right? What does that mean? Well, in I haven't even turned my calendar to April up there. Hold, please. I'm going to have to get this so I can tell you what today is because I want to say today was a 13 day. Today it is. So today was the energy of 13, which was, if you were listening yesterday, they really talked about this number 13 and the idea that 13 has been missing from our energies here on the planet since the patriarchy came into being. And it was as a way to suppress the feminine, right? The feminine energy is what was always using the number 13. It implied sort of this more balanced energy, living in harmony, as it were, with the natural universe, right? With the natural world. So here we have today 13, which at the very back of the calendar, it tells you what each of these days means. And the 13 is in Mayan, it was ascension, the number of moving up to the next level. For them, it's the energy of completing, same kind of thing, right? A time for completing all unfinished business and integrating it so that we can begin a new cycle tomorrow. And isn't it interesting that today it coincides with the full moon, which is also the energy of completion and of bringing things to a close or bringing things to a project, releasing something even, or getting ready, preparing to move on to the next level. And the earth energy that is associated with it today is called devoting. And I'll just read to you what devoting is because I thought that was fascinating too. Devoting means, you can guess, community orientation, harmonious energy. It's the north energy. And she did talk a little bit about the directions yesterday, which I think is so fascinating too, because Native American tradition always used the energies of the north, the south, the east, and the west. And I find that I also saw that in Mayan astrology, and here it is showing up in Pleiadian astrology. So there is something sacred about the four directions, which was translated into pagan times. Suzanne could probably even tell you that if she's here with us this morning, in the cross quarter days, right? The Beltane and Lunasa and Samhain or Halloween and Imbolc, right? These are sacred days. These were the cross quarter days. And they also related to the northeast, west, and south. So such coherence going on, right, in these systems that I'm always called to something that I see coherence in. It's almost like there's evidence piling up on top of evidence piling up, right? That there's something, crucial here that either we've been missing and we need to call our attention to it, or something that's been here all along, just sort of underneath the surface. So I'm going to be pulling you into this with me throughout the next throughout the next time, however long that is that we have together, bringing you into more and more of living from this Pleiadian earth energy, or you might also know it as the Mayan calendar energy. Because people sometimes think that the Mayan calendar ended with the 2012 winter solstice. I happen to know the date was actually October 28th of 2011, as opposed to the 2012 date. And it indeed ended a cycle, but it wasn't the end of the calendar, right? It wasn't the end, it was a rebirth. And how fascinating that this new sort of Pleiadian earth energy comes out in the wake of the perceived ending of the Mayan calendar. So it's just really fascinating energy. So the weeks in the calendar, let me see if I could show you guys who didn't get to go yesterday to the thing. The calendar looks like this, right? And it is, I'm trying to center this. I can't really tell because I can't see myself. There we go. So you see, here we are today, the 19th. So it has the Gregorian calendar on it, only so that we can identify where we are in time, right? It's not that she cares that much about the Gregorian calendar, but since we've been living by that calendar, it helps us to orient ourselves to this calendar. So here we are today, it's a 13, and it is the energy of devoting, and it yields to tomorrow, 1, illuminating. So a new energy, a new week begins, and that energy is about illuminating. And what I find interesting is that the days run from sunset to sunset. So we had this energy from sunset last night until sunset this evening, and then we'll move to this energy. So they don't, again, look at the time on the clock and it says midnight. Oh, it's now January 20th or April 20th. I'm lost in a time warp. I'm sorry. So we, again, the mechanical use of the clock and the mechanical use of our calendar took us out of the natural cycle of energies. The Maya also considered the date change or the day change at sunset. And that's why it's really important then for us to know your birth time, because if you were born, let's say you were born on April 19th, but you were born 10 minutes after sunset, you're going to be actually the energy of the next day as opposed to the energy of that day, if that makes sense. What you woke up with in the morning isn't necessarily what your particular energy is going to be. So birth time becomes important, or at least an idea of were you born before sunset or after sunset, right? So anyway, so I really loved that. Again, congratulations to Lynn for winning the calendar. Lynn, I sent your calendar to you yesterday. It is off in the mail. You should have it soon. So I hope you enjoy. And for all of you who would like to get a calendar, you can still do that. And I suggest you all do. I mean, so if we're going to be talking about it here in the morning, wouldn't it be nice to have your own, right? So you could see what it is. So here, I'm going to put up a website here that you can go to, piaorlean.com. There it is. And they prefer that you go to their website and order it, because if you order it through Amazon or one of the other booksellers, it takes, for some reason, an extra long period of time for you to receive it. So order it directly from them and you will get it much quicker. piaorlean.com. All right. And I believe you can also get the book from her there, but that was easier to get on Amazon for some reason. So there you go. Let's see who we have with us this morning. Good morning, Gail. Hello, Janet and friends. Hello, Gail and friends. Love seeing you out there. Michelle, good morning to you. Kazimi Sun, awesome. Linda Crouch, Dennis, improving. Life must be really improving for you, Linda. Painting's finished, but what a mess to clean up. Laminated floor installed sometime next week. House still in total chaos, but everything's improving. I love it. Libra, ruled by Venus. My mom died on the day of a major Venus transit end of last year when retro Venus was Kazimi, the sun. The full moon at 29 is such a releasing energy and a big jump. I know I've been doing a lot of contemplating of her and her death. Anytime we deal with the 29th degree as well, it is karmic, right? There's a connection to all of your lifetimes. If you could look through, if you could, look at your life through a pair of glasses that would allow you to see the relative importance and of all of the experiences of all of your lifetimes, what you would see is that you're experiencing another level of the karmic connection for you in this life, wherever it is that you have 29 degrees of Aries and 29 degrees of Libra in your chart. It's a story, right? It's a story. It is a continuing unfolding of a story, the story of you. So in that respect, every time I see a 29th degree, I think about, where is that story taking me? And of course, at any time, you have the ability to change the story. And if you can, in your dreams, often this is probably more apparent, where you catch glimpses of the things that you're still dealing with in terms of the symbols that are going on in your dreams. By the way, how many of you dreamed last night? I had no dreams last night, but I was restless all night. Aries energy, Libra energy. I was rocking and rolling. I don't remember a dream. I could have dreamed. I have no clue. Unlike the previous full moon, where it was like all these symbolic things came to us. By the way, I want to show you guys something. This is a necklace that I got when I was in Grand Turk. And I don't know, it's red jade or coral, and it is a dragon, a red dragon. And I don't know if you guys know this or not. I'm not sure if I've ever shared this very powerful dream I had about a year ago now. No, gosh, maybe more than that, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where I gave birth to 2 red dragons. I mean, literally, I was pulling them out of my body. I was literally birthing them. And the next day, was it? Or maybe a couple of days later, I was at a psychic fair. I was actually participating in it. And this lady had done some rock painting. And I look over, and there are these pair of red dragons painted on these rocks. And I went, that can't be a coincidence. And even though it was ridiculously expensive to buy 2 painted rocks, I bought them. And I've had them right here sitting, in my office. So imagine my surprise when I'm wandering through a store and the only thing that catches my eye in this store is this red dragon. And it's heavy, and it's actually really beautiful, and it's reddish, but it's kind of corally color, so it kind of matches my shirt this morning. Our talismans, our symbols, the things that showed up in this store. It was the only red dragon in the entire store. I cannot believe for one moment it wasn't meant for me. And I almost didn't buy it. It was Debbie. Debbie's going, get it, Janet, get it. Why wouldn't you get this? I mean, it's right there. It's got obviously for you. And I hem and hawed, and I walked around, and that dragon kept calling me back. And I finally said, okay, fine. I've got to get it. So I got it. And so I'm wearing it this morning to remind me the symbolism, whatever that is. I know it's about power and stuff like that, but it can't be a mistake when things like this jump out at you. So we are surrounded at all times by the symbols and the things that are here to awaken us to remember who we are and what it is we're here to do and what it is we do next, right? That it's all around us. And that was also, oh yeah, see that day was the day after we had attended a workshop with John Holland, who was talking about dream symbology and just symbology in general, right? And that's as a leeway to oracle cards and why oracle cards work, because they're symbols, right? That are called to us from our unconscious or our subconscious mind. And from that, we can make correlations to the meaning for us as individuals. So it's really, really very interesting. So let's see. Good morning, Vanita. Good morning, Kathy. Debbie Hedden. Good morning, Mimi. Good morning to you. Vicky, good morning. And Rebecca, good morning to you. Michelle Gay, good morning. Lynn is with us. Good morning. And good morning, Michelle. One of these days, Michelle, you're going to have to teach me how to say that last name. I want to say Shaka. I don't know, but maybe you can send me a voice message telling me how to say your last name. Natasha, good morning. Debbie Tibbetts, good morning. No dreams for her either. Isn't that weird? I mean, I'm so used to dreaming that when a night goes by and I don't dream, it becomes very obvious to me that there's something going on in the stars. Rebecca says she had a very symbolic dream. Um, yeah, Debbie, she's saying, I talked you into buying it. She did, because she's like, you're going to let it pass you up? No, you got to get it. She says, LOL, peer pressure. She also peer pressured me into drinking that week. I was like, no. Oh, let me have a pina colada. And then I got kind of caught up in pina coladas and lemon drops. It was hysterical. Good morning, Crystal. Good to see you. Diana Belgard, good to see you too this morning. So there's a lot I want to talk about this morning. And one of the things that I really want to talk about is the Black Moon Lilith. But because I want to do readings for you guys today with oracle cards, I think I may wait on the Black Moon Lilith. But just know we're going to get into a deep discussion about her soon, because she's getting ready to move out of Aquarius, where she's been for about the last 8 months, and into the sign of Pisces. And as you all know, Pisces is a very tender spot in our charts. It's like the alpha and the omega, right? Her moving through that sign is going to be sort of, I want to think of it as her coming in behind the sun and Mercury and Venus, and she'll join up with Neptune during that time. And I think of her as batting cleanup here, right? For us to really see our shadows more completely. And so I have some really interesting things I want to share with you about that. But we may do that on Monday, because she's not moving out of the sign until May 3rd. I'm just going to be gone that week. So so we'll do it a little bit early, but probably not today. So the full moon this morning occurred at 4:13, blah, blah, spit it out, my time, 7:13 a.m. then for you all on the East Coast. It happened very early. And now, because it was at the 29th degree, we have already transitioned into Scorpio energy. So the moon is now moving through the depths of Scorpio. And when the moon is in Scorpio now for the next couple of days, let's see, actually, let me see how many days. Today's the 19th, 20th, and until just after Easter sunrise on Sunday, we have the energy of the moon in Scorpio. There's the possibility of hidden things coming up to the surface. Remember, the moon rules our emotions and our deeper soul connection. And Scorpio is passion. It is intensity. It is often revealing. It holds dark, deep secrets and then reveals them at the most appropriate time. And some of that may include power struggles with people in your life. You may be able to pick out somebody's hidden agenda. I think it was interesting that the Mueller report started coming out as the moon was getting ready to be full, and the full impact of that report won't be known probably for a while, and maybe even over the next few days. There's emotional strength and wisdom here in the moon in Scorpio. And we need to be ready to watch out for very powerful, deep emotions that are running through us. And before we express them in passive aggressive ways to others, right? Being responsible and taking your cue from yourself about, hey, what am I feeling and why? Where is this coming from? Some of you, projectors, manifestors, and reflectors, whose feelings am I feeling, right? Is this mine? Particularly if you have an open emotional center, because sometimes you may be feeling things that aren't yours. It may be that of the collective. It could be that of somebody that's, in your sphere of influence. And if you're taking action on something that isn't yours, then you have mistaken motivations, right? Mistaken things that you're doing or saying. So you want to be very careful over this weekend about that. Now, the moon will be lining up here with the planet Uranus. It's coming closer and closer right now. to the, let's see, Uranus, I think, is at 2 or 3 degrees it's at 2 degrees of Taurus. Why don't you look at your chart here? 2 degrees, 20 minutes of Taurus. And when the moon gets to 2 degrees, 20 minutes of Scorpio, they will form an exact opposition to one another. So there could be some surprising things that come up for you. It could be that it's already happened, as the moon was already, sort of catalyzing some of those surprises over the last day, as it was, preparing to getting closer and closer to its full status. So some things may have been revealed to you during this full moon, things that you thought you were done with that are back in your face. Trigger points. That's trigger things that you thought were done, but you got triggered again by something. So being watchful for those things. Remember, Uranus is a surpriser, an awakener, and sometimes you can get through a Uranus transit and you won't even notice it. But others of you are going to get pounded by something, whether it comes up from internal or if it's something on the external that triggers you internally. One way or another, you want to watch what's happening. So not get into panic over anything, and not believe that you're, being beaten up on by the universe. It isn't that at all. There's an awakening going on here. And it's probably a very spiritual awakening. Remember, the theme, one of the big themes for 2019, besides that of conservatism and good stewardship, that would be the more mundane things. But there's a huge spiritual lesson moving through the collective this year. It's about embodying more and more of your divineness. And if you're struggling with a health challenge, or you're struggling with a personality issue with someone in your workplace, or a relationship issue, a money issue, it is your time now to take a look at the spiritual meaning of that in your life. Not just that you keep seeing this happen, or that it is happening, because it's deeper than that. If you are embodying the divine, right? If you're an expression of the divine creator in physical form, then it is also available to you to solve the problem, right? To heal yourself in whatever way it is that you need healing, to work through everything that is up in your life. It is not someone else's responsibility. And it isn't somebody else that gets blamed for what's gone on. And I don't want you blaming yourself either. It's not you're bad and so you have XYZ happening in your life. It's that it's a symbol. What is it showing you? And then asking spirit, what is it that I can do now with this? Show me the way, right? Show me the pathway forward. Show me the pathway to healing. Show me the pathway to peace in my relationship. Show me the pathway to my right divine work, etc., etc. I hope that makes sense to everybody. All right. Um, really loved your full. Oh yeah, I hope you guys got the full moon report. I posted it yesterday, and then I went, I do a lot of my writing on my blog, and the blog is presumably posting to my Living Astrology Facebook page. If it isn't, then please let me know. If you're not seeing the articles that I post, let me know, because you may have to subscribe to the blog in order to do that. But that doesn't really make sense because I put it out everywhere. But you never know. So let me know if you guys are not receiving the blog posts. So that was yesterday. It should be on my Living Astrology page now. We'll just have to wait and see if that happens. So bigger news today, besides the full moon and the moon opposing Uranus, we also have the planet Mercury in a conjunction to Chiron today. I almost missed this. And I went, what the heck, Janet Elaine? You need to watch for this, because this is a biggie. This is a biggie because Mercury is the communication planet. He delivers messages. And we talked about it just a few days ago, moving into Aries, where the possibility of our communicating directly, of our maybe even saying things that we didn't mean to say. I mean, all of that was really important. And I just don't think I don't know until today if I just saw this or what, Mercury in a conjunction with Chiron. So we have to not worry. We want to work through what we are saying and what we are thinking. So, for some of you who have a lot of openness in your human design charts, and by openness, I mean centers that are white, right? So, for example, Debbie Hedden is a reflector. So, all of her centers are white until a planet transits over a gate that makes a connection in her chart. Some of you, several of you out there are projectors. Projectors also have quite a few white centers, undefined centers. You can be a generator, like Michelle Gay is a generator, and she has just the sacral and her identity center connected, and all of the other centers are white. So wherever you have a lot of undefined, non-definition in your human design chart, you are taking in a lot of energy around you, right? You're taking it in and you expand or amplify that energy. And then the tendency for us to do is to rebroadcast that energy, but it comes off incorrect because it isn't right for you, right? Those open centers are sort of your feelers into what's going on around you, what's the energy level out there, but not necessarily meant for you to express in that way. So we have to always be careful. Like my voice, I have an open throat. So when I'm speaking, I have to make sure, like in this situation, I'm speaking because you all showed up here in the morning to hear what I had to say. That makes sense, right? But if I just walked up to a group of people and just kind of pushed my way in and said, "Hey, it's me, Janet. I want to talk to you. Listen to me," that is not going to go over well, right? Because I wasn't invited in to speak. So it would be inauthentic of me to do that. When you see me in a room of people, I'm usually the quiet one. Unbelievable because you know me as a talker. But you get me around a party or people in a group, and I'm really relatively quiet until someone draws me into the conversation. That's how all of our open centers work, right? We get drawn in by the energy of those around us. And if your tendency is then to just, blurt in the case of the throat center, or go into fear in the case of the spleen center, or, overly emote in the case of the emotional center, then you are being inauthentic. And now I can't even remember why I got into that. Okay. I know. I remember, because I wanted to say, listen to what it is that you hear yourself saying or what you hear yourself thinking, right? Because those are sometimes your tells. You know how when you play cards, there's always, or poker, there's a tell. Everybody has a tell, about whether they're bluffing or about what kind of cards they have, etc. I mean, nobody's face is just blank, right? We all have something in our body. Is it a tick or something? But what use the energy of the things that you're thinking, or the things that you hear yourself saying, or what you hear other people saying, as a way to kind of see into what is going on for you. What is the wound doing here? Because, for instance, let me just think about this for a second. Let's say, I'm sorry, I had new drops I had to use this morning, and they are making my eyes itch. That's not exactly what I meant to have happen. So let's just say you're out and about and you hear these people having a conversation about a person that you really love, but they're being derogatory. You're taking that information in, right? Your tendency may be that you want to jump in and defend that person, but it isn't your job to do that, right? It isn't your job to speak to something unless you were directly involved in that conversation. So many times we want to jump and do things. And what that does with Mercury conjunct Chiron is put you in a position of becoming wounded, right? Becoming wounded by other people's words, or your own words in response to other people's words, or your thoughts in response to things that you're seeing about yourself. So here we have a lot of things to think about in terms of what's being triggered for you right now. And the triggers could be any number of things. You know, I had this thought this morning, and this is a recurring thought, and it's one where I recognize this as me starting to give up on myself, right? Give up on what I'm doing, is that I need to go get a job, right? I don't know, every once in a while that thought just comes back up. And I sat there this morning, I'm putting on my makeup, and I get that thought, my friend is leaving that position. I wonder if I should, apply for that position. And I went, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" right? There's still the vestiges of that little piece of wound there within me that's being triggered about me not being good enough to do what I'm doing here, or whatever that is, right? Self-worth, um, just whatever that is, right? Um, so for all of you, something is coming up. It might be a thought. It could be something you hear from someone else. It could be something that somebody directs to you as a comment, and it might trigger your wound. So the issues here, just as a reminder, the issues in Aries are about independence, standing on your own 2 feet, being worthy, right? Self-sufficiency, self-acceptance, and also issues around giving too much of yourself to others and not having enough left over for you. And on the opposite side, it could be what you see as selfishness, uncaringness, competitiveness, or aggressiveness around you. And if you're seeing that, or I doubt that any of you are expressing that energy, but you may be seeing that energy expressed, through other people in your lives. The trick is to not blame, not make them wrong, but to understand why it is perhaps that you have a judgment on that. What is it about selfishness that is getting to you? And why? Maybe it's because you also wish that you could give as much to yourself as this other person seems to be giving to themselves. Although you don't have to go to selfish, you could go to self-centered, right? Putting yourself in the mix. And those are some of the issues that we're dealing with. And overall, see, this is happening in the early degrees of Aries, where the full moon was just now at the very last degree of Aries and Libra. And there's nothing in Libra at the other end at 2 and 3 degrees that's going to bring this to us. The shadow part of it is going to be sort of vague, right? It's not like there's a planet that's just shouting over there, here's your shadow, look at this, here's your wound, look at this. It may be a little more vague than that. And it could be just, for example, me putting on my mascara and wondering if I should go apply for this job, and then going, no. So I run it through my generator self. One, there is something out there for me to respond to. But the second thing for me is the emotional piece. And the emotion originally was like, no, this isn't for me. This is just an old thought form that I'm hearing, I'm seeing, I'm recognizing. Now I get to choose what I do with this, right? That's the whole idea. So underlying all of this right now is our rising to a new paradigm of the self, where you as the individual have as much power and strength and birthright to all the good in the world as much as anybody else does. So it takes us to that very basic giving and receiving, and understanding that they are both a part of an infinite cycle, right? Giving is receiving and receiving is giving. So remembering that, arising to a new paradigm of the self. And, this is ongoing. Chiron will be in Aries for quite the while. Mercury's going to move on. Mercury this time next year will also hit up Chiron again. But for right now, it's a new message. This is the first time Mercury will have met up with Chiron in Aries, right? So it's the first time in 50 years or so. So what are we doing? We are rising to a new paradigm of self that is inclusive. We are included in everything. We consider our own needs and our own desires before we take action, right? We don't just do things to make other people happy if it's going to do something to us, if it's going to undermine our own self-worth or our own feeling of self-acceptance. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see what people are saying. Good morning, Suzanne. So Rebecca says, but if all of us have the spleen and sacral defined right now because of transits, do we still draw in that energy from others? Yes, because it goes to what your natal human design is about. And the fact that it is defined right now is definitely a call to be paying attention. What fears are you expressing, right? The spleen is about this, it's the center of survival. And Where might you be questioning yourself? Am I going to survive? Is this all worth it? Remember, it is also the gate 50 on the spleen that is completing the channel from Uranus at 27. Let me see if I can show it to you guys again here, because I think I kept that chart. By the way, if you are out there this morning listening and you might want a reading, tell me, because I'm going to be doing card readings here shortly. Yes, this one will show it to you, even though I've written all over it. So here's the spleen right here. And the earth is sitting at gate 50. Gate 50 is right here at the point. And then gate 27 is on the sacral. And the sacral gate 27 is Uranus. So we have Uranus here, and he's long term. He's going to be here for a while. But what's different is Earth sitting here for the week now, defining your gate 50. So those of you with an open sacral and open spleens now have defined sacrals and defined spleens. And remember when we talked about it, this is the gate, this is the channel of nurturing, feeding, clothing, caring for, laying down the laws, laying down the rules, living by values, right? Claiming value. And this is also a channel when it's defined that we can sometimes get caught up in feeling like I'm going to fail in my responsibility to my family, my community, my tribe. And so I do more and more and more and more, right? And I keep giving and I keep giving and I keep giving until eventually it triggers a deficit. Right now I'm in a deficit. I'm giving from a deficit. I'm not giving from my largeness or from my abundance. I'm giving from a deficit. So we have to be very careful about that during this week, that we're not just giving and giving and going and going and going. You may feel like you have all the energy in the world to do that, but those of you that are manifestors, projectors, or reflectors, you don't have a sustainable life force energy in that sacral, even though this week you feel like you do. So knowing that if you go into a project right now, or you go into fear around something, stop yourself and ask yourself, is this really me? Is this really genuine, something that I need to do or get involved in or feel or behave in that manner? Or is this me picking up this vibe from the collective and it's tempting me to be something that I'm not? Right? That's why it's so helpful to know yourself, right? Know yourself. Okay. So let's see. So I hope that answered your question, Rebecca. If not, add more. Mimi, always up for reading. Okay, so I better start taking down names. Oops, wrong page. That won't help me. So I have Mimi, I have Suzanne, and I thought I'll see more here in a minute. Let me finish up with this. I'm always struggling to survive, Suzanne says. And Suzanne, I don't remember right off the top of my head what your spleen looks like. If it's open, is it possible that you're picking up the relative survival energies from your ancestors, because that's there, from your family that's around you right now, from your friends that are around you right now, and then expressing it, right? Oh, that's funny, Suzanne. I already wrote you down for a reading. I thought I saw you say you wanted one. Oh, great minds think alike. So if you're feeling an inordinate amount of fear, or, feeling like you're scraping and struggling to survive, pay attention, because it's probably something that's going on in your spleen that isn't even yours, right? So, especially if it's something new. If it's something that you've never struggled with before, and now suddenly you find yourself struggling to overdo because you feel like if you don't do enough that your family is going to be disappointed in you, and you've never felt that energy before, or you feel it rarely, then that's a clue that this is something else going on, that it really isn't something you're here to express. So that's another way that you can tap in. Is this something you're feeling that's new, or is it something that you felt often before? So, all right, Mimi, already wrote you down. Okay, thank you. I remember you already told me I have that gate 50. Okay, Lynn, wondering, don't the transits give us the flavor of being defined? Not that we are truly defined. Yes, that's a great way to say it. It gives us the flavor of being defined. But if you're not consciously aware of that, then it is used inappropriately. Does that make sense? Right? So the flavor of but not the actual. So the flavor of having abundant energy, abundant life force vitality, but not actually, right? So it's not, you might temporarily have access to this energy, but it's not there forever. And if you keep going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny after this, maybe you take on because you feel so good, right? You feel so good because right now, this week, you have all of the sacral energy, and you keep using that sacral energy, but you don't normally have it. You're going to burn out because it isn't your natal energy, right? So it's there temporarily, but you can misidentify with that energy and think it's something that you can keep using and using. And then you find yourself exhausted and wondering why, or you find yourself ill and wondering why, right? So you got to be careful, be very careful, especially if you guys are reflectors, manifestors, or projectors, because you don't have a defined sacral. And right now you have the flavor of having a defined sacral. I love that, Lynn. I'm going to use that more and more. Crystal says, I would love a reading. Crystal, I'm going to put your name down right now. And Rebecca would love a reading. Oops, I just put Krista, not Crystal. Okay, so let's see what other comments are going on here. Good morning, Jessica. And let's see how many we can do. I'm going to put Jessica's name down. And let's see, Camille says, wow, you are singing to the choir. My moon is in Aries, sun in Cancer. Woohoo! Oh, yes. Moon, it's funny. I find a lot of women incarnated right now with the moon in Aries. It's either that or I just seem to attract them. And well, that's interesting. Okay, so I just had an aha about that. But what I find interesting about women with the moon in Aries, it's very masculine. The moon is feminine and Aries is masculine. So you're here to blend those energies, right? Of the receptive feminine and the more action-oriented energies of the masculine. So I find often women that have the moon in Aries are doers, right? They get into this doing, and they forget to slow down and live from the feminine part of themselves, which is the receiver, right? So they're always trying to do. And so anyway, I'll tell you about the aha I just had here another day. Linda, me for a reading, she says. Okay, Linda. So anybody have any questions about anything we were just talking about before I go on to do readings? And Suzanne, nope, struggling with the same crap all the time. I'm out of TP and other basic necessities. Like always, I seem to fight just to keep these in stock. That is survival energy. So that is definitely coming up from the spleen. Suzanne, I'm going to see if I just so happen to have your chart here because, sorry, I just hit my mic. I hope that didn't break your ears. I keep files and sometimes I don't move the readings that have been done to the done file. And if I have yours, I want to take a look and see what is going on. I think I might have moved it. Angie. I have Angie's chart in here. I have my own chart in here. I put yours away, sweetie. I'm sorry. But if you still have your own copy of your chart, take a look. Jessica Hughes. Jessica, I have your chart in here. That's too funny. So, Suzanne, take a look at your human design chart. What is going on in the spleen? Check the gates that are defined. Take a look at what's being defined now. If you need to, you can even send me an email and maybe I'll help you wade through that a bit and see why it is that this is a recurring, your spleen is defined. So survive. So that's, the repeat is the spleen is defined. You're always broadcasting that energy. So in order for you to look at that more clearly, look at what's defining your spleen. Where's the channel that's defining it? And that will help you kind of determine what next to do. Jessica laughs. Oh, yep. I can't believe I have your chart in there and not Suzanne's because hers was more recent. That's too funny. So yes, I would, Camille. And that. All right. So I don't see any other questions popping up. So I'm going to start doing card readings and let's see. I wrote them all over this page in no particular order. So I'm going to start with Suzanne. Would you like spirit animals or wisdom of the oracle? My sense is you need this one, but I'm open. Let me know. But I am going to pull one of these. And this is for Suzanne. She's like, okay. And Suzanne, I think the question that I am going to ask for all of you on your behalf is, what is the message that you need to enact the highest healing for yourself? Especially because this is a time of releasing. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This card jumped out and it's cool. It's the card called By the Book, card number 11. And it is a number, of course, that Suzanne, you are the one, this is a master number, double ones. I always think of the 11s as the number of illumination, bringing in the light. So let's see what by the book means here. And it came out sideways. So I'm going to read basically the protection and the regular message for you. 11. Here we go. So the essential meaning of this card for you is abiding by social rules, conformity, respecting cultural or family customs, universal laws. The oracle's message says the universe works within a structure of divine laws and principles that provides a framework for human experience and evolution. The law of abundance, the law of prayer, the law of karma, the law of attraction, the law of thought, the law of compensation, and the law of nature are only a few that are known. These principles create perfect order and operate with a kind of precision beyond human understanding. Even revolution has its place in universal law. Human beings, in turn, have their own laws and customs that vary from culture to culture and family to family. Laws keep social order and govern behavior, reflecting an instinctive understanding that harmony is important. This is a time to learn these laws and conform to them rather than being the rebel and flouting them. When this card appears, submit to structure and follow the rules. Ooh, I can just feel that, even if they seem to make no sense. Release resistance, for universal laws will correct any disharmony. Open your eyes to those universal laws, and it will be easier to go by the book at this time. I am going to read the protection message, though. It says, now is the time for real change in consciousness as you are incited to revolt. Challenge the structures that are limiting authentic progress. It is not enough to rebel in small ways. This is a call to revolution. Focus on what you really want to achieve, regardless of whether it feels so far outside the box that the established order may reject it. Genius, invention, and transformation are rarely comfortable and less likely to be accepted by the mainstream. It may be time for you to say no to the way of your group, take a stand, and make real changes. It could be that the structure of your inner world is alerting you to the need for a complete overhaul. This is a time for transformation, so let go of the fear of change. Your intuition will lead you through the darkness. There is no turning back now. Trust the light will dawn. Epiphanies will surely lead to miracles. Wow, that's a powerful card, and it seemingly goes in two directions, but I would kind of expect that because the card itself was lying like this when it popped out. It literally jumped out of the deck, landed this way. So that's why I was reading both the upside and the upside down of the card. My sense is that maybe you are conforming in some ways and not in others. And that maybe your rebellion, if you will, or the revolution that you're undergoing is hit and miss, and it needs to be more consistent. That's just my sense, my 2 cents. But of course, you've got to run that through your own formidable intuition and see what that means for you. All right. So next is Mimi. And Mimi, what card deck would you like? In the meantime, I'm going to draw from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. I just feel called for this deck this morning. Someone will want the animals, so I know. And this is for Mimi, her path forward. And, oh. Animal, please. Oh, maybe that's why no card wants to pop up out of that deck. So Miss Mimi, we're going to go with the animals. Love these cards. I just love these cards. The animal deck is, besides being beautiful, it's just quite powerful. Animals have so much to teach us, don't they? So this is for Mimi. Sandpiper spirit. Oh, you got two. And swan spirit. And they were both right side up. Sandpiper spirit says, be playful. And swan spirit says, time for a deep dive. So you're going to playfully take a deep dive. Let's see. Oh, the book got stuck in. All right, here we go, Miss Mimi. So Sandpiper Spirit came out first. It was card 51, which is a 6. Interestingly enough, Swan Spirit is card 60, which is also a 6. So we have the energy of 6, which to me evokes home and balance and creating harmony. So let's see what 51 is, because that was the first one. And it's numerologically first anyway. So Sandpiper Spirit says, sandpipers are like cute little clowns poking their beaks into the sand before darting off to chase the waves. The appearance of Sandpiper Spirit is a sign that now is a time to engage your playfulness. Whatever tasks you have before you, perform them with a lightness of being. Explore the familiar, discovering the new in the old. Who knows what treasures await you when you let yourself laugh and have fun? Sandpiper Spirit's happy and curious nature can help you to feel rejuvenated as you remember your ability to run and fly and dance playfully. Woohoo! Okay, Swan Spirit, also a 6, higher level of a 6 because it's 60. Maybe Suzanne will put that number up for you too. She just posted up 11. So let's look at Swan Spirit. Time for a deep dive. With their graceful long necks, swans are able to reach into the depths. God, what is it with me this morning? When Swan Spirit arrives, you are called to take a deep dive beyond what is easily available on the surface. You may think you know what is best for you now, but take the plunge into the depths of your awareness, for there is knowledge you are not aware of and great treasures to discover. Deeper understanding awaits you, and a perspective that comes from greater self-knowledge is what you need right now to better understand a situation or relationship. As you come to know yourself more intimately, so too will you come to better know others. So Swan Spirit asks you to go beyond the surface of what is happening between you and others and resist the temptation to judge by superficial appearances. Know there is much deeper potential for loving connections, forgiveness, and mutual understanding. Choose to dive deep into your why, asking the deeper questions of yourself. You are led by the grace of Swan Spirit. So cool. I love swans. No, it was the number 60 and the number 51, Suzanne. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So that was for Mimi. Next would be Crystal. Crystal, what deck do you want? I'm going to go with the wisdom of the Oracle for you for right now until you tell me differently. So Crystal, this is for you. And you're welcome, Mimi. And you're welcome, Susan. Whoa. Okay. Well, this is for you, Crystal. Breathe. Card number 29. 29 is also an 11. So what Suzanne put up there about number 11 is also applicable to you. So let's read Breathe. I think we've had this card before. Breathe, number 29. The essential meaning is patience, waiting, going slowly, wellness, meditation, trust. Patience in all things is called for right now. What do you need to do when you're in a rush? Slow down, of course. Meditate and trust. Breathe and repeat. Humans cannot exist without drawing breath. Now is the time to allow the life-giving element of air to replenish your body, your being, and your very essence. Stop to smell the roses, breathe in the sunlight, and release the darkness, and miracles will appear. In the relationship message, it says, don't be in too much of a hurry right now. The heart needs time to open. Take a breath and let nature take its course. Release constriction and anxiety, for there is no need for tension. Savor the moment, and the waiting won't prove difficult. Your heart knows what the ego often resists learning. Patience pays off in deep and meaningful ways. And I'm going to read the prosperity message for you as well in this one. It says, you have worked long and hard. Your dreams are coming to fruition, and you want to hurry things along. You are the slow one, moving languidly, yet still progressing right now in a rhythm dictated by your authentic nature, the essence of your dream, and the will of the universe. Slow and steady wins this race. You will indeed win if you relax. Stay the course, trust your intuition, and breathe. I hope that has meaning for you, because I know you're busy. You work, you're a mom, and you're a Leo, which also tells me that you want things done now. And why aren't they done yet? So that's a reminder to slow down and breathe. Okay, Rebecca, you are next. And Rebecca, I'm going to use the wisdom of the oracle. If you want an animal card, let me know. Crystal says, oh my God, that couldn't apply more. Ha, thank you. You're welcome. So isn't it interesting how cards work? Because I don't think of myself as a particularly psychic oracle kind of person. Although I did have an image one time of myself as being at the Oracle of Delphi, and something about the Oracle Pythia or something like that. I always get that image. Rebecca, I just pulled a card for you. It popped out of the deck, and it is this one. It is upside down. Our little cheetah friend, right? Here's our little cheetah racing for the finish line. And it is card number 47 and 11. How many of you are going to get 11s this morning, right? We had the number 11 in Suzanne's reading, I think it was. Mimi was 6s, but Crystal had, 29? And now we have 47, which is also an 11. The card's named Go the Distance, but it was in protection. I mean, I can already feel like this is moving too far too fast, maybe, or pushing. Let's see what we can find. 47. Oh, anyway, it was saying about the oracle thing. It's that, somehow we are connected, right? We are all connected energetically. All I'm doing is representing you through the card. I'm just kind of pulling out, what it is that you're projecting. I guess that's a good way to look at it. I mean, it isn't me, it's you. That's my whole point. So go the distance. The card itself means endurance, strength, the long haul. So here is the protection message for you, Rebecca. Do you feel as if you've been wandering in the desert now for ages and ages and nothing is happening? When you conjure up the image of a desert, you picture parched lips, sunburned skin, and mirages. But there is more to it than that. Amid the hot sands are creatures with resilient spirits, tough skins, and the willingness to burrow deep underground for water so that they may thrive. This is a time of developing survival skills and resilience. You are learning how to conserve your strength, and in this temporary time of austerity, it's wise to be selective about where you expend your energy. Listen to the call of your soul, because it will never lead you astray. This is an important time for letting go of what's not important, and by corollary, focusing on what is important, right? Perfect. That's a great card. I think it reminds us all because, even, us generators and manifesting generators, we get into this action roll. It's like a steamroller, right? It just picks up energy and we're just rolling with it. And sometimes it can stop you from seeing what's obvious, that you need to slow down, right? So this is a message for you to slow down a bit, smell the flowers or roses or tulips or whatever there is where you live. On my way yesterday to Cornelia's house to do the Ascension and Astrology broadcast, I was driving past what were daffodil fields before I left to the Caribbean. When I came home, the fields are all tulips, white and purple and red, and it just boggles the mind, right? It's just like so beautiful. and you just want to keep staring at it. And when people do, of course, they block traffic. Um, anyway, this is for you, Jessica. And Jessica, I just grabbed the wisdom of the WOTA, we call it, wisdom of the oracle. Yeah. If you decide you want an animal card, let me know. So this is for Jessica Hughes, and there's something deep moving in here for you. I don't know. I feel it. Serendipity. Serendipity card number 18, which is a 9. And it looks like it has a lucky shamrock there and a little fairy reaching up for the shamrock. And card number 18 for Jessica. This sounds like good luck. I'll let you. Okay, I choose this one then. 18. Okay, serendipities, meaning opportunity allied with readiness, awareness of synchronicity, luck and good fortune appearing as signs and symbols, a magical alignment of events. Gotta love this card. You've stepped into alignment with the greater good, where your dreams and the collective dream resonate in exquisite harmony. Now is the time for luck and preparation to meet and create miracles that you could never have planned all by yourself. Keep in mind that you are a channel for providence right now, as a higher energy uses you as a force on behalf of the whole world. Woo! Your fortune becomes everyone's fortune. Everything you bring into being now will leave a wondrous legacy for others in the future. Your service to the world is being supported at this time. Expect the unexpected, so Uranus, and smile, for Spirit loves you so very much. Woohoo! I don't think anybody would not want to have that card, right? And Suzanne is putting up the number there, number 9, because 18, 1 plus 8, 9. So there we go. After Jessica, Linda. Did you tell me what deck you want, Linda? I'm just scrolling back, guys. Forgive me here for a minute. Nope, I don't see Linda saying what she wanted, but I'm going to do the WOTA, me for a reading if possible. Okay, so yes, possible. Here we go. Jessica says, oh gosh. Oh my goodness. Linda, a card literally just jumped out of this deck for you, and it is the deck. It is the card in the deck that is exactly what we were talking about this morning, about exchanging gifts. It's also a 9, 2 plus 7, 9. So we have now another 9 rolling through here. We have this theme, 6, 11s, and 9s. So it's exchanging gifts. It came up upside down. And this is, the energy of giving and receiving, right? And knowing you, Linda, likely it's on the giving too much side. So let's read about what this is. 27. The essential meaning of the card is the law of giving and receiving. Camille, don't go away. You're next. The law of giving and receiving, currency, trade-offs, weighing costs, and determining value. That's the basic meaning of this card. In protection, it is be careful what you pray for, because you just might get it. And then realize you don't want to face the hefty price tag that comes with it. You may find yourself in a situation you've always desired, but know you will have to walk away from, or even fail at it, because you can't or won't pay the dues it asks of you. If you want to be a famous musician, you have to practice your craft every day. If you want to be a millionaire, you have to be responsible for managing the money and paying the taxes. Even a windfall bears a cost. It's okay, though, because Spirit will help you achieve balance over time. Another message here reminds you that being only the giver and not the receiver plays out in many relationships in your life, where you find yourself in victim mode, in a codependent dynamic, or holding on to a false sense of control. Others may push you to continue to prove yourself. The time has come to distance yourself from this kind of imbalance. Being aware of the need for both give and take is the first step to your true destiny. It's all good and getting better. Not only can you handle this, but you can flourish as a result of it. which reminds me, Linda, that you are a Libra, and this speaks to that Libra energy that can get out of balance, right, in either the giving or the receiving. And it's speaking to that imbalance, right? So don't allow yourself to get caught up into that. All righty. Sorry for the phone, guys. I totally forgot to turn it off this morning. That card number is 27. 27. Suzanne wanted to know. All right. Camille says, my choice. Since we're having such good luck with Wota, I'm going to stick with Wota. No, I am not. You're getting an animal card, Camille. Patricia, that's awesome. Phone ringing, bells going off, and pay attention. Can't make this stuff up. That's true. I mean, that phone never rings. Linda says, wow, that fits. I'm going to listen to this again. Good. So, Camille, I'm transitioning over to a card for you. I'm going to pull 2 cards for you, Camille. I don't know. Now the animals are, well, they're just going through a big mix up here. And sing like a canary, sing your own song, it says. This is card number 12. Isn't that beautiful? Right? Canary. Yeah, exactly, Suzanne. That was 9 again. But this one is 12, which makes it a 3. So canary spirit, sing your own song. Sing a song, but make it your own. And that is card 12. I'm also going to pull a Wota for you too. So don't go anywhere. Oh, wait, I passed it. There we go. So the Oracle's message for you, Camille. Canary spirit arrives to help you find your authentic voice and express what is in your heart. Free yourself to experience your inner light and let it shine. As canary spirit sings to remind you of your inherent joy and to support you as you sing your own song. Now is the time to let the world know who you really are. Canary spirit's message is that you are free to be yourself and express your most cherished desires. The world wants to hear your song. If your inquiry is about a relationship, you're being called to fully be yourself, for only then will you find harmony and joy. You can make music with others so beautifully when your note rings true. Gosh, I love that. That's so cool. All right, but somehow you get a Wota too. And Camille, let me know how that rings true for you or not. Angel number 3, yeah, because 1 and 2 is a 3. Thank you, Suzanne, for being out there this morning and having the time to do that for us. I love it. Oh, okay. You have message in a bottle, and it's upside down. Message in a bottle. Right side up, it is card number 15, which takes us to 6 again, right? 15, message in a bottle, but it was in protection. So let's take a look at what that card means. My mind is wandering today. Okay, 15. The message in the bottle card's basic meaning is communication, a sign, a cleat-on. She actually used that word, Colette Baron-Reed, when we were on the ship. She was talking about cleat-ons, which are spontaneous oracles delivered innocently by the speaker, pointing the way to your highest good. And the protection message is this. Are you refusing to acknowledge the signs because you want things as you want them? Red flags are not pretty decorations for you to admire. They are warning you for a reason. If something doesn't sit right with you, trouble could be hiding in the bushes. Don't ignore the signs. Spirit always has your best interests at heart and will draw your attention to what you are overlooking. Right? So you get that. So what are you overlooking in terms of singing your own song? Right? Where are you maybe devaluing yourself or not singing your song as brightly or as loudly or as truly as you should be? All right. All kinds of buzzers and bells are going off here this morning. It's too funny. My phone just beeped at you. So take that message and run with it. Let's see anybody else here. Camille, Linda, Jessica, I think I got everybody. And perfect timing. We're just a little bit over 9. Okay, so if you can take the time, I'll take a reading, Vanita. It's getting late, so no worries. So Vanita, this is for you. And I'm going to do an animal card for you. This is for Vanita. And then I've got to get back to writing. I finished January of 2020. Today is going to be February of 2020 and next week's energy. Next week, by the way, guys, just an FYI, I have my grandson Wyatt on Tuesday and Wednesday. No, Tuesday morning should be fine. On Wednesday and Thursday. If I don't make it on air, you'll understand why, right? Because 1-year-old and me on air, I'm not so sure that's going to work out very well. So if that's the case, if you don't see me Wednesday morning, you'll see me Thursday afternoon because I'm going to do the Ascension and Astrology show. So next week, just a little bit of a weird week. If I don't come on air on Wednesday, I'll post something. So Vanita, here you go. Ooh, these cards are really wanting to mix up. So there must be a message here for you. Dolphin. Dolphin spirit. This and that are true, and it's card number 2. 20. So a 2. Dolphin spirit. Let's read that one. I don't think we've had that one in the animal deck for anybody yet. Or at least I don't remember it. Okay, dolphin spirit. Spirit, like her earthly manifestation, is a reminder of duality. As the dolphin is both mammal and sea creature, so too is dolphin spirit both this and that. Two truths coexist, the story you tell and another as well. The duality of life is present when we are suffering, for there is a blessing too in the helpers that appear. Within clouds are silver linings. When we later reflect on what happened, we can see that a situation was both this and that, and a choice led to both joy and sorrow. No relationship is either all good or all bad, and people have qualities of both light and shadow. Focus on the positive, for the light exists alongside the darkness. Dolphin Spirit calls for you to come up from below and enjoy a weightless moment in the sun as you dive in and out of this and then that, accepting and even enjoying the duality of life. Why not join Dolphin Spirit in acknowledging and affirming the blessings present in this moment? In all areas of your life, there are aspects of both this and that. Today, you can celebrate this fact and recognize the complexity and the beauty of the fabric of the universe. You are at a place right now where your past self is still present as you move toward the new self you are becoming. Aspects of both selves are present. So even if you want to say goodbye to what was, you're required to find solace in this between time. Today is not a day to choose one over another either, but rather to accept things as they are without judgment or resistance. Even in matters of the heart, duality is present. Your next action will be obvious when you drop your bias and see things as a whole. Wow, that's a pretty powerful card and a message that I didn't expect to hear from Dolphin. So I hope that makes sense to you, Vanita, in some way, shape, or form, right? So, all right, guys, that's it for me. I will see you on Monday morning. And last comment here from Camille, very appropriate to what has been the mode over the past weeks, watching for red flags, but seeing beautiful synchronicity and protection around too. Very true. Thank you. You're most welcome, Camille. Don't forget to sing your song. That seemed to be the most important message. All right. Much love to all of you. Have a wonderful weekend. I forgot it was Friday and I didn't go through the weekend's energies. Wow. We had a lot to talk about. So it is what it is. All right, guys. Take care. Much love. Bye for now.